No map, no way back. Only instinct and a promise from afar. In the heart of the African continent, a silent movement is stirring the entire ecosystem. Not lions, not cheetahs, but the black and white striped wanderers, stepping into legend. Scorching heat. Predators don't need patience. They just wait, and they must choose to keep moving or fall. For the first time, humans can witness this journey clearly, step by step, turn by turn. 8 individuals are tagged with devices, but behind them is an entire race against time, against nature, and against themselves. At the destination, life blooms from ashes, but arrive too late, and the sun will burn everything to dust. This is the final call of the wild. Not for the weak, not for hesitation. Only for those who still dare to believe that survival is a choice. Welcome to Botswana Ablaze, the great migration of zebras across the burning plains. Northern Botswana is a vast, wild, and arid land stretching across an area 3 times the size of Austria. At the end of the dry season, usually in November, this place becomes a familiar gathering point for thousands of zebras. From all surrounding regions, they converge on the marshes along the Chobe River, where the last remnants of water linger before the rains begin. Here the zebras prepare for a grueling migration, a 250-kilometer journey south, crossing cracked and barren lands, heading toward the parched salt flats of Nyaipan, a place where tender grass only sprouts briefly after the first rains of the season. The path they must take is far from easy. It's a journey through one of the harshest and least trodden wildernesses in southern Africa, where blistering heat, cracked earth, and life itself seem to survive only through sheer will. Many female zebras in the herd are pregnant or traveling with newborn foals. Their final destination is Nyaipan, a vast, blindingly white salt flat stretching to the horizon. But with just one early rain, this seemingly lifeless land springs to life, lush green grass rising from the parched soil, vibrant and nutrient-rich. A precious gift for those who arrive at the right moment. Timing is everything in this migration. Leave too early, and they'll reach a barren land where the grass hasn't yet grown. But leave too late, and the tender grass may already be claimed by herds of antelope, elephants, or buffalo, rendering the entire journey pointless. During the dry season, the floodplains around the Chobe River are an ideal refuge for zebras, a rare oasis in the arid landscape, offering both water and wild grass to sustain life. But when the first drops of rain fall, signaling the coming wet season, the flow changes and the grasslands flood. That's when the zebra herd set out, leaving their temporary haven to begin the long journey south toward Saipan. At this moment, about 2,000 zebras are gathered along the banks of the Chobe River. They spread out in small clusters, each group of about 20 individuals, like small families within the larger wild family. Though they are the same species, there's no universal signal to start the journey. Each family decides when to leave based on instinct, experience, and a cautious awareness of the dangers lurking ahead. To track this mysterious migration, some zebras have been fitted with satellite tracking devices. These compact collars, designed to avoid hindering movement, quietly send back data throughout the grueling journey. A total of 8 individuals were chosen, 2 males and 6 females, each female from a different herd. Among them, one stands out: Janet, a remarkable zebra, not only because she's reached the rare age of 9 in the wild, but also because of the incredible history she carries. In 2012, Janet was the first zebra tracked in this region. Back then, it was believed that zebras here only move short distances, about 100 kilometers, to nearby grasslands like Savuti or Siloko. But Janet astonished everyone. The signal from her collar showed she didn't just leave the familiar area, she traveled over 250 kilometers, crossing arid lands and deserts, to reach the distant plains of the Saipan salt flats. Even more astonishing, her round-trip journey totaled 955 kilometers, far surpassing the famous migration of wildebeest in East Africa. From Janet's hoof prints, a secret was revealed. This is the longest migration of any land mammal in all of Africa. Yet the path Janet and the other zebras take is anything but easy. It's a journey through breathtakingly barren lands, where food and water are nearly non-existent. Only dust, searing sun, and the relentless cruelty of the wild. Choosing such a risky path reveals one clear truth. This migration is not just a seasonal stroll. It's a matter of survival, an ancient instinct driving them forward, even if the cost might be their very lives. Each zebra family is a tight-knit unit, often made up of pregnant females or those caring for foals, with a single male acting as a protector. The male always trails behind, vigilant for any sign of danger, ready to face predators to defend the herd. Among the females is Winnie, a standout individual named for the distinctive black stripes on her shoulders. Though only 6 years old, she's already a seasoned mother. This may be her 6th migration and her 3rd time leading her own foal through the perilous journey to find new life in the wild. Zebras mature remarkably fast. Just an hour after birth, foals take their first wobbly steps. A week later, they begin nibbling grass, their survival instincts kicking in day by day. But in their first weeks, their world is still small. They stay within a few kilometers, always in their mother's sight, under the herd's strict protection. Now that world is about to be turned upside down. Ahead lies an enormous challenge. Their first migration, stretching hundreds of kilometers through harsh lands where hunger, thirst, and predators lurk in the shadows. Yet the foals don't fully grasp these dangers. They still play by the river, chasing each other under the afternoon sun, leaping through patches of fresh grass. These carefree games are, in truth, their first training sessions, strengthening their legs, sharpening their reflexes, building their endurance. Because soon, those instincts will be their only weapon in their first race for survival. After months of waiting in the scorching drought, the first rains of the season finally arrive. For 4 months, not a single significant drop had fallen on this land. Now, as the scent of damp earth fills the air, small groups of zebras begin to leave the riverbank quietly, determined, as if they'd been waiting for this moment for ages. They cross the Chobe River, now shallow after the dry season. The latest satellite data shows that within just a few hours, nearly the entire herd has crossed the river. A swift, decisive, collective movement. They've officially left the floodplains, leaving behind the safe haven of the dry season. Ahead lies 250 kilometers of barren wilderness, an unforgiving journey where challenges and dangers will follow every step. Not every river crossing goes smoothly. In other African rivers, like the Mara in Kenya, Nile crocodiles lurk in murky waters, waiting at the banks. They can wait months for a single chance to strike. Zebras step into the water cautiously. Though excellent swimmers, they're vulnerable if they can't touch the riverbed, easy prey for crocodiles. But by swimming close together, the herd reduces the risk of attack. Thanks to this, most make it through safely to continue their journey. At the Chobe River, fortunately, no predators lurk for now, allowing the zebras to press on freely. The open terrain of the floodplains helps them avoid ambushes. But now they're entering a denser forest where a pack of African wild dogs lies silently in wait. Wild dogs are tireless hunters. Among the thick trees, the zebras are unaware of the danger creeping closer. Even without cover, African wild dogs are a true nightmare on the plains. They're not the largest predators, but what makes them deadly is their sophisticated hunting tactics and perfect teamwork, making them one of Africa's most effective hunting packs. In every hunt, each dog has a specific role. One chases, driving the prey forward. Others flank, cutting off escape routes, tightening the trap. If the prey suddenly changes direction, the pack instantly adjusts its formation, as if trained in advance. No chaos, no mistakes. Only speed, discipline, and cold-blooded killer instinct. Thanks to these tactics, wild dogs have one of the highest success rates among Africa's carnivores. One of the tagged female zebra has moved over 20 kilometers beyond the river, steering clear of the wild dog danger zone. Scientists call her socks because her legs lack stripes. This zebra is heavily pregnant, likely her first time giving birth. At just 4 years old, Socks surely lacks the mothering experience of Janet, another female in the herd. Along the way, she grazes whenever possible, knowing 230 kilometers of harsh terrain still lie ahead. Socks belongs to a small group of 7 zebras. Her group has surged ahead of most of the herd. Farther back are Winnie and her family, followed by 2 other tagged females, one of them 10 years old. Traveling in groups is one of the oldest survival tactics on the plains. Unity forms a living shield against enemies, but when a small group suddenly breaks away, that protection vanishes and the wild dogs notice. They never miss an opportunity, especially when the target is a pregnant or nursing female, slower, more vulnerable, and an ideal meal. But this time, luck is on the side of the vulnerable. The pack is still full from a previous hunt. They pass by, not out of mercy, but simply because it's not yet time. Yet wild dogs aren't the only threat. Other silent predators are waiting, and lions have caught the scent of opportunity. Just a few days into the journey, satellite data raises an alarm. One tagged zebra suddenly stops moving. It stays near the riverbank, motionless for 2 days. Following the radio signal from the device, researchers track its path, but they find nothing clear. They examine every hoof print. It's hard to know what happened. The collar, besides tracking, carries a small camera that activates for a few seconds at a time to save battery. The last images show everything seemed normal. The zebra grazing calmly by the marsh, side by side with Socks, Janet, and others. But on November 24th, after crossing the river, its behavior changed, often straying from the herd, standing alone, no longer moving far. For 36 hours, it barely left one spot. The camera captured no signs of an attack, but its strange chewing could suggest poisoning or an infection. Some kind of illness? Soon after, the camera recorded vultures approaching. A few hours later, the zebra was dead. The cause of death remains unclear, but the collar's images show one truth clearly. Life here is fragile and full of risks. The latest satellite data shows most of the herd is still heading south. Socks and her group are doing well, while Winnie and Janet remain farther behind. In a single day, Socks's group covered 30 kilometers of dense forest. It's unclear why they're moving faster than others, but as Socks is close to giving birth, she may be rushing to reach the basin before labor. Along the way, Socks finds little food or water, but it doesn't stop her. In the last 36 hours, she's covered 50 kilometers, yet 200 kilometers still lie ahead. But the satellite data reveals something else. Within hours, all other zebra groups turn back, heading to their starting point by the Chobe River. Sock's group is the only one pressing deeper south through thick brush. Why did so many groups turn back? Winnie and her foal are among them. With her experience, she may have sensed this year's rainy season is too short, not worth continuing. Or some natural signal warned her they left too early. The factors behind this decision remain unclear, but satellite data may help scientists unravel this newly discovered migration. For now, it seems the herd is hurrying back to the starting point. Zebras need water daily and rarely stray more than 10 to 15 kilometers from a source. The lack of water in the south may have forced their retreat. The Chobe River flows year-round. Its water's enough to sustain basic life. But for zebras, water alone isn't enough. Staying behind means missing the chance to reach the nutrient-rich young grass sprouting in the southern basin, where a single rain can awaken lush, vibrant vegetation. Thanks to their unique digestive system, zebras can survive on the nutrient-poor grass along the Chobe. But to produce rich milk for their foals, they need the abundant fresh grass of the south. At first glance, all zebras look identical, but look closer and no two are alike. The patterns of their stripes are as unique as human fingerprints. Some theories suggest these stripes confuse predators, strengthen social bonds, or even repel insects. Recently, scientists discovered something fascinating. Zebras in hotter climates have more stripes on their backs. It seems the stripes create a cooling effect. The black and white patches heat up at different rates, generating air movement between them, potentially lowering body temperature by up to 3 degrees Celsius. This year, the zebras have lingered by the Chobe River longer than any recorded migration. There's no sign they're about to leave. Their delayed departure may be a consequence of the El Niño weather pattern, when sea surface temperatures in the South Pacific rise, triggering extreme climate shifts worldwide. In Africa, El Niño often means delayed rains. Some years, the rains don't come at all. And when the first rains are late, the zebra's instincts force them to hesitate. Without clear signals from nature, most of the herd has chosen to stay, not because they don't want to leave, but because venturing out in uncertain times could cost both mother and foal too dearly. But to give their foals the best start in life, they need to head south soon, to the basin brimming with fresh grass. So how do these zebras know the way? In Botswana's flat wilderness, there are no mountains or clear landmarks to guide them. In the past, it was thought migration routes were passed down through generations. But in the 1950s and 1960s, fences were erected to prevent diseases spreading from wildlife to livestock, disrupting migrations for decades. Then a few years ago, a turning point came. The fences blocking the zebras from the southern grasslands were removed. Almost immediately, the herds resumed their ancient routes, as if nothing had ever stood in their way. Remarkably, not a single zebra in the herd had traveled that path before. No one led the way, no tracks remained, no memories were passed down. Yet they still knew the route, as if an invisible compass was encoded in their very being. Some scientists believe that, at least in part, the migration map is hardwired into the zebra's genes, a possibility once thought impossible. Meanwhile, the herd shows no sign of leaving the Chobe River, but now they've moved farther south, crossing a major paved road. 150 kilometers to the south, Socks and her family have covered half the journey. For the first time in 6 days of relentless travel, the zebras stop. But this time, something unusual is happening. They don't move on after a few hours as usual, but have stayed in one place for 24 hours. Could one of the herd, perhaps Winnie, have given birth on the migration route? If so, the second half of the journey will be even tougher. The rains still haven't come, and the land ahead is parched, desperately short of water. This stretch has many small depressions. When rain falls, they become small lakes, lifelines for migrating species. But for now, the zebras remain by the river. Despite a few light showers, something still holds them back. Data shows that during the day, they graze on young grass in fire-scorched areas, but at night, they return to flatter, safer ground to sleep. The patterns behind their migration behavior are hard to pin down. Data continues to stream in, showing Socks crossing a barren forest left by a wildfire. Socks is still strong and hasn't yet given birth. Only 2 zebras remain with her. The larger herd and the lead male are nowhere to be found. Without their protection, the risks grow. Meanwhile, at the Chobe River, Winnie, Chan, Spirit, and Jill have finally begun their journey. They cross the paved road, bypassing the burned forest, and press forward. Now only 180 kilometers remain to their destination. The great zebra migration has truly begun. Thousands of individuals are heading toward the salt basin. "10,000 years ago, this was a vast lake, now dried into a mineral-rich plain that grows highly nutritious grass. When the rains come, the basin transforms into a lush oasis. But this year, things aren't as expected. Only scattered showers have fallen, the land remains dry, and there's no sign of young grass. Even if Socks and her family make it through the forest, they won't find the fresh grasslands they seek, and that's not their only problem. The rains are nearly 2 months late, and the zebra's delay has left the lions starving longer. The changing season is a dramatic moment. Temperatures soar to 45 degrees Celsius. Moisture gathers in the air, forming towering clouds across the sky. At first, only light, scattered showers fall, then the sky bursts. In a short time, 100 millimeters of rain pour down. This is what the zebras have been waiting for, though it's weeks late. The entire herd is now very close to Saipan. Over the past week, they've traveled an average of 30 kilometers a day, arriving just as the rainy season peaks, with grass beginning to rise from the earth. But the lions are waiting. Zebras live an average of 10 to 15 years, after which most become prey for predators. After the big rain, the first zebras arrive. Janet, the first zebra ever tracked on this migration, leads the way. This year she arrives just as the young grass sprouts. Once part of a group of 15, she's now with only 5. Then, one by one, other zebra families reach the new land, Saipan National Park. Spirit, a tagged female who was pregnant when she left, has arrived. The fate of her foal is unclear, but wounds on 3 of her group suggest they narrowly escaped a lion's claws. They've crossed the line between life and death. But then, movement in the grass catches attention. A newborn foal, just 1 or 2 days old, born at the perfect moment when its mother's milk is richest. A flawless start to life. Despite the dangers, Socks and her foal's decision to press on was the right one. More and more zebra families reach this land, each surviving the long, perilous journey. Now is the time to rest, nurture their young, and savor the lush grasslands. This, the longest migration in Africa, only recently discovered, offers a rare glimpse into the lives of zebras. Modern technology reveals their extraordinary resilience, adaptability, and astonishing courage. This journey, though brutal, is one they conquer with remarkable grit.